Good morning and happy follow-up Friday to everyone on June 3rd, 2022. Carlos will be joining us, I'm sure, here in a few minutes, but I wanted to get started. We're a little late, a little behind our start time, but we pushed it back to 9:30, and it is a good time to talk about the 2022 goals that you have set or that I have set for myself and the importance of the assessing part. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, you see here, there, is the business cycle or that process, what's called business continuous process improvements or Kaizen. Because we're at June 3rd, this is the midpoint, if you will, for the year. And, we set our goals for 2022 in the beginning of the year. And now it's time to make sure that we're on progress. So typically we should be checking our progress all the way throughout the year, of course. But the process of continuous improvement is Kaizen, and that's plan, do, check, and act, right? Planning, setting your goals, doing, putting some implementation in play, checking against your progress, and then taking appropriate actions. And so I thought it would be very good to share this with you today to talk about the fact that we're at the midpoint of 2022. Where are you relative to your goals? Where am I relative to my goals? And if I'm not on pace to hit my goals, I need to be able to check that on a regular basis. But more importantly, I need to be able to act. And that's where we're at right now. If you're not on pace to hit your goals for 2022, this is the time to reassess, looking at your strategies, your actions, and also a time to make some different plans or adjustments to those plans to make sure that you get back on pace to hitting your goals. So, I look at my goals that I set in the beginning of the year. I look at those goals probably monthly, but every activity, every driven activity that I take on a weekly and a daily basis is headed towards the goals. So I know, when I look at those goals and see how I'm doing on a monthly basis, I'm checking, right? Checking or assessing my progress. I already kind of have a pretty good feel for where I'm at. And that's because I'm checking those goals, and I'm putting in actions or plans or strategies every week in order to, help me get towards my goal. So, if you go back and look at some of my Facebook posts on my personal page, you'll see my 2022 goals. I shared that out there. I put it out there so everyone can see what my goals are. I've got it broken down by family, crypto, investment, real estate, lending, you name it. I have it broken down into categories of what I want to achieve and what my goals are for 2022. So far, I'm pretty much knocking on the door to achieving 3 of those already at the midpoint. So that's the power of goal setting. That's the power of taking those goals and breaking them down into monthly, daily, weekly strategies to make sure that, that all of my activities, all of my actions are aligned and working towards the achievement of my goals that I set at the beginning of the year. And, and I got to be honest with you, I'm very protective of my time, and I'm very protective of the activities that I engage in to make sure that they're typically aligned with what I'm on pace to do or what I want to get done. And you've got to be very protective of your time as well. There's a lot of people that they don't value your time, and that's the biggest lesson that I've learned over the course of years is that people do not value your time. They don't value my time. And the only one that's going to value my time is me. And so I know that there's a value, a dollar value associated with all of my actions and activities. And I also know that that people don't always think that way, which is okay. But I'm focused. I'm focused on achieving my goals and doing the things that are going to bring me activity yielding events. And that's really what it's about. I've got a number of people that I call on that I'd like to have meetings with. And then I have people who call on me, and I'll meet with the people that that have some benefit to help me achieve my goal. And also I'll meet with people that if I'm trying to help other people, I'll meet with them as well. But it's all focused on my goals, whether it's charity, whether it's working out in the community. It's all focused on the achievement of my goals and what they are. But I have to value my time, and that is very important for people to understand that we only have a little bit of time. throughout the day. And if we're not spending that time focused on what we're supposed to be doing, if we're not organized, if we're not structured, if we didn't time block, it's easy for that time to just evaporate into the air, and therefore you won't be on pace to achieve your goals. So, so really important to understand. Give me a second here. Let me. I need to resend Carlos the invite. So give me a second here, guys. I will get that done. But this is good because I wanted you to see this model, right? So many years ago at Sprint, we went through what people call today Six Sigma, quality, all that stuff. And it was called Sprint Quality. And in that training, and a number of the trainings, we came across Kaizen, the principle of Kaizen, which is continuous improvement, continuous process improvements. And I think for me, that's probably one of the greatest lessons that I could have learned is, we have to always be evolving. We have to always be continually improving. And that Kaizen, and it's spelled with a K, K-H-A-I-Z-N, Kaizen, Japanese term, is all about continuous process improvements. Like that is programmed into my mind every day, throughout the day, every project, throughout the project. I'm always thinking about, how can I do this better? How can I do this more efficient? How can I be more effective? How can I improve as an individual? So that mindset was drilled into me at a very early age, 2021 at Sprint, with all of the training, with all of the development. And it has just been something that I have just captured and continue to implement and use in everything I do. It's always about continuous process improvements. Always, 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 always. I don't care how effective or efficient something's working. There's always probably a better, more effective or efficient way. And the key is not to sit on my laurels and rest on my laurels and stop looking to find ways to improve things or improve myself, more importantly. So that's what this model is: plan, do, check, act. This Kaizen model, that's what it is. And I just dropped, good morning, Vanita. I just dropped some notes, more specific notes. And I'll also drop the link to this article. As you can see, let me copy it and I'll drop that also in the notes or the comments rather, so that if you want to follow along, you can follow along. Give me a sec here. Let's see. All right, there you go. So there goes the link to the article. But the article is written by Narwash Shmat, and it's talking about using the PDA cycle to support continuous improvement, which is Kaizen. Plan, do, check, act. Planning your plan, doing, checking, and then acting. Again, the key to me, of course, obviously you got to do the planning, but the doing, the checking, and then the acting. This is the reassessment, right? Reassessing the plan and seeing, once I've identified that there's a problem, that something is going on, it's not working, like I'm not achieving my goals, then I've got to take some action. I've got to reassess. I've got to replan. I've got to take some action. And a lot of times the reason why I'm not hitting my goals is because I'm not doing enough. And that's what we talk about on Follow Up Friday a lot, about doing, about making the telephone calls, about following up with people. The do part obviously can break this whole model. We can have the best laid plans and goals for the year. We can have great checking and assessing our progress of those goals. But if we ain't doing anything, then we are not going to be successful in achieving our goals. So it's very important to know that there is a process, right, for continuous process improvement. And that is something, again, that I just programmed into my mindset. Everything I do is about continuous process improvement. How can I get better? Every day I can be a little bit better than I was yesterday, every single day. And so understanding that helps me in a big way achieve most of the goals that I set out. For one, I'm a doer. So if I get in my mind that I want to do something, I'm going to do it. I take action, and when things ain't working, I take reaction. I plan other things. But understand that there's so much fear that we're caught with in this do stage, right? There's so much fear. We're fearful of failure, whatever the case may be, or we're afraid that it may not work out. But that's what the check stage is for, right? So we can make a decision. And then if the decision is not a good decision, it's not working, well, we're going to find that out if we are checking our progress. If we're checking and identifying what the results are of our decision, we're going to find that out. And I think that helped me early on remove or eliminate fear. Because once I understood that I could, make a plan, I could make a decision, and then I could keep progress checks in place, that if it wasn't working, if it didn't work, then I could always make another decision. And that is where my high risk mentality has come from, is not being afraid to make decisions, not being afraid of choices, but also understanding that, I can check that decision. I can check the progress. So if it's not a good decision, if the progress isn't going the way I need to go, then I can take action and make another decision. And so, if you're like I was early on and very fearful of taking risks, very fearful of failure, understand that you can always make another decision, always make another choice. And there's nothing to stop us with that. And your fail safe, or at least my fail safe, was the checking, having the ability to check on the results. In the checking stage, you review the experiment, analyze the results, and identify what we've learned. Did it work? What did not work? What's not working, right? These are the things that I can ask myself and see. Am I making enough telephone calls? Am I talking to enough people? Am I following up enough? Am I going through my database? Am I touching base and staying in front of people? Like, these are the actions and the things that I can check to see. And if not, then again, I've got to put in place some different actions in order to get myself back on track. So I wanted to share this with you today, using the PDA cycle to support Kaizen. Again, Kaizen is continuous improvement, the continuous process improvement. So good article, plan, do, check, act. Great information that's out there and available. It's free information. I sent you an article that's there and available for you. You're welcome, Fernando. My pleasure. My pleasure. Vanita says, yes, I have to be honest with myself. And you're absolutely right. And that to me, Vanita, is where hold on, Carlos is there. Sorry, Carlos. I didn't see you there.
Morning.
Vanita is right.
I'm listening.
She said I have to be honest with myself. And she's so right, because that to me is the difference between my failure and my successes. Like, when I stopped lying to myself, I started achieving greater things and doing more. As long as I continue to tell myself that I was doing a good job and I knew I wasn't doing a good job, I continue to stay in that place. Carlos, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, cool. Okay. I can't hear you. Hear you.
Hold on.
Oh, okay. You're on the phone? Okay, no worries. So let me pull up back on the screen, guys. Give me a second here. So we've added Carlos back on. There we go. Okay, cool. All right. So in this article that you guys have the link to, it just breaks it down, planning a 3-step process, identifying the problem. What's the problem, or what's the goal? The second step is analyzing what you've got to do. The third step is developing something and doing it. And then the fourth step is understanding that you have to check and act, right? So plan, do, check, act. So good information, a real quick and easy way to check your progress towards your goals, but understand that, nothing gets done unless you do something. So great plans, great goals. I had the best New Year's resolutions for many years, but I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't take those goals and drop them into monthly objectives. And I didn't take those monthly objectives and drop them into weekly objectives. And I didn't take those weekly objectives and create a daily plan. What am I going to do each day? What's the one thing I'm going to do each day towards the attainment of the weekly, the monthly, and the annual goal? If I'm not aligned on a daily basis, if my daily actions are not aligned to my annual goal somehow, I'm not going to achieve that goal. I'm not going to do it, right? So this is a midpoint check for 2022. And I can tell you right now, I've had a number of people that have called me and said, hey, can we do something, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I can't do that. Like, my schedule is packed. my schedule is packed. My son needs to go take his driver license test. And, the times that they have those, we have to find another week. Like, it's not going to work within the next week, because I already got my week planned out and it's solid, it's tight. But most of that stuff it's either some things like basketball practice, or,
right,
around to a summer job, or, right. So we've got those personal things, But then I have my business related goals, and I have my overall goals. I've got my crypto goals. I got my real estate goals. I got my lending goals. And so, my schedule's tight, but it's all aligned to my annual goals. All my daily activities, all my weekly activities are aligned to what I want to accomplish. And so, as I mentioned early on, I've already pretty much accomplished 3 of my annual goals. And I'll share those with you, in future follow-up Fridays. But it becomes a little bit of a surprising when you go back and you check your goals and you see 6 months in, you've already achieved them. Did I set them too low, or was I just very effective at focusing on getting certain things done? I think it's probably a mixture of both. But that's okay. I've got some more goals to accomplish in 2022, and I'm not going to stop. Those things that I've already achieved at the midpoint of 2022, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to push the bar beyond and set a new baseline for 2023. And the same thing can be done for all of us. We just have to understand we've got to plan it. We have to check against the plan. We've got to take action. We can't be afraid of failure. We can't let fear drive us. We have to face everything and keep moving. So that's follow-up Friday for you guys today. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend, great day. The weather is lovely here in Kansas City. Not sure where it is with you guys. Carlos, any last words before I sign off? Are you still
No,
on?
it's great. It's great info. You can't hear me?
Can't hear you? No. So you're not muted either, huh? Okay, no worries. All right, guys. I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Carlos or myself. You can hit us with a DM. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, rocking like it's hip hop. I'm on TikTok now, Carlos.
Oh my God, stepping it up.
All right, guys, have a good weekend. See you, Benita. Thanks for joining. Fernando, thanks for joining as well. See you guys. Take care.